Welcome back to Coffee and Chaos. This week, you have me, Solomon, and I brought on a co-host for the day, Steph.
A co-host?
Okay. What would I call you?
I don't know.
I brought on a girl. It's a girl. We're going to have a topic.
She doesn't realize she's auditioning right now.
She has no clue. I think when she walked in within 5 minutes, you were like, oh, it's all her. Like, she's coming. She's staying.
Nailed it.
Yeah, nailed it. So today's topic is going to be quite an interesting one. I date Caucasians, Mexicans, Puerto Rican, like interracial dating. Solomon's in an interracial marriage. And do you believe in interracial dating?
Mm-hmm. I do. My parents are in an interracial relationship, but me, I've kind of dated every race as well. I don't really discriminate. I'll take any race.
What is the cough for? What? Is there a race there that you are surprised about? What
I don't discriminate on race, but I will tell you this much: I like white boys.
No, hey, I'm all for that. But it was just funny because the way she said it, I didn't expect you to say that.
Yeah.
And the reason being is, what are you, Steph? That sounds weird. What are you?
Yeah. So I'm mixed. I think my mom is German and Irish. And my dad.
Hold on. She's not white then.
Well, no, she's not at all.
What is she?
But in America, she's white.
Yeah. But she's not white.
But no, she's German and Irish. And my dad is actually Pennsylvania Dutch and black.
And your dad, when I first met you and you told me that, I didn't believe you. I was like, girl, you were lying. Get out of here with your little white ass. And you were like, no. And you showed me a picture of your dad and I was like, is that your stepdad? Like your mom's boyfriend that raised you? And you were like, no, I came from him. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like your mom's genes have to be a lot stronger.
Yeah,
a lot
they
stronger.
are. But not with my brother.
Really?
So I have two brothers. One brother is from my dad with a previous relationship. And then my middle brother, he's obviously with my mom and dad. And he's dark.
Really?
And he looks nothing like me. I don't think he looks anything like me. He has brown hair, brown eyes. He's 6'6".
He black.
Yeah. Like
How was that growing up though with like a little white girl with an older brother that looked like that?
So it was kind of weird. When I'm with my mom, they would give her looks because of the way my brother looked. You know, they were like, oh, that's her daughter. But that.
Yeah. But and that was how long ago, right?
Or it's from a different relationship.
Yeah.
You know, that's the looks that I would see.
Oh.
And then when I'm with my dad, they're probably like, what is this little white girl doing with this guy?
That had to be harder on your dad because you're 30-something. You don't have to tell your age if you don't want to. But that had to be harder.
35.
Okay, 35 years ago, 30 years ago when he's walking around with this little 5-year-old little white girl, people had to have been looking at him crazy, more so than your mom walking around with your brother. Because think about it. How tall is your dad?
My dad is not that tall.
He's not?
My dad is 5'11", so.
Still tall man. And he's black. And now he's this little white girl.
And I'm short. Yeah. And my mom's not short.
How tall is she?
So my mom's 5'8", 5'9".
Well, German women are tall.
Yeah.
Because my son, which we found through his DNA, he's German.
Yeah.
And his grandma Sharon on his dad's side, she's tall, but all her brothers were super tall. They're tall. That's where Seth gets the majority of his height from.
So I don't know. It was just crazy growing up. My mom had a lot more issues than my dad did, I think, because my dad worked a lot. My dad was an attorney, and then he became a longshoreman. So he was very busy. He was never really around. My mom was a real estate agent, so she was home with us 24/7.
Oh, okay.
And then if we weren't with her, we were with our babysitter.
Yeah.
But I think my mom had a harder time.
So you have your Caucasian family, we'll just say, and then you have your black
white family.
The white family. That's what I tell my kids every time they piss me off. I'm like, that's the white in you.
And the white side of my family is super white. I mean, they're from Nebraska. Farms, white.
So which family are you closer to one than the other? Is it equally the same? Who do you connect more with?
I wouldn't say that I'm closer to one than the other because they're so different. My dad's side of the family is out here. Well, most of them are. Most of them, a lot of them have passed away, but the rest of my family, my dad's side of the family is out here. But my mom's side is in Nebraska. So it's just like, I don't really have one that I connect more with. I like both.
Okay.
When they're very different.
Yeah.
My mom's side of the family is nuts. They're so funny. Yeah. And my dad's side of the family, they're more like calm and reserved.
Really?
Which is crazy.
Which is sometimes it's the other way around, right? You go to like a Caucasian family and they're calm and quiet. And then, you go to a black home and they're fun and they're, you know what I mean? It's just it's almost like a Mexican home.
Yeah, they're fun. They're just, I don't know. My mom's side of the family, my grandfather was very goofy. So I think that's why my mom's side of the family turned out more goofy.
Were they okay with your mom marrying a black man way back then? Because that wasn't accepted like it is today.
That's a touchy subject. So I would say that it probably, I don't know. They won't talk about it with me. But I'm sure there was issue with it.
And I'm sure they want to protect
coming
you.
from the country.
Yeah. They probably wanted to protect you too. Like they don't, you guys don't need to know the hurtful things that I'm sure your dad probably felt more stuff than your mom. For marrying a white woman back then.
Yeah. Yeah. So I really don't know. I wish I did. Well, sometimes I do. And sometimes I'm like, should I know?
Yeah. And you had mentioned that something had happened to your dad. And that's why you feel really connected to your dad and his side of the family.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. And do you feel that him going through what he went through for being black and all that stuff, does that make you connect closer to your dad? Or are you just a daddy's girl because you're just a daddy's girl?
I'm just a daddy's girl, period. I love my mom, but I'm just a daddy's girl. I've always been a daddy's girl. And my brother is a mama's boy.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
So when they moved here and they had you guys, did your other brother from the previous marriage come with you guys?
Yeah. So my other brother lived with us for a very long time. And I think he moved back up to San Francisco when he was, I think, 12 or 13.
Oh, so, okay. So
he went back up to San Fran to be with his mom.
And then so that point
he went to Polytech here. No, Polytech is high school. So maybe after high school. Then.
Okay.
Maybe college because he went to Berkeley.
What's the age gap between your older brother and you?
So it's a huge age gap. It's pretty big. I think when we were born, he was 14 or 15.
Oh, yeah, that's a huge gap.
Yeah.
That is a big gap. And what's his mom's nationality?
I believe she's full black, but I'm not positive.
So then that is a big difference between your brother too, because you are this little white girl that, and then he's that and all that. And are you guys close?
Yeah, we're very close.
Do they tease you?
My older brothers?
Do they call you like little Barbie doll? And...
no, they don't say anything like that.
Okay.
They really don't. But I'm the littlest one. So they're my older brothers, so they tease me about everything else.
Yeah, because our siblings, we all tease each other about who's your real dad and this and that. Like, I mean, we're pretty ruthless.
No, they have said you're the milkman's baby.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's what I was asking. Because they always tease me. So there's my brother, and then there's me, and then my sister and my little brother. But so I'm kind of in the middle. And so they always say, like, do you really know who your dad is? And
I know. I tease my mom a lot.
Do you?
Yes.
Now today we tease my mom more than ever. And sometimes I feel like we should stop, but it's so fun. We don't give her a break.
I tease my mom a lot. I tell her that. Like, am I the milkman's baby?
And what does she say?
But I do look like my dad. Like, I have features from my dad.
Yeah.
You know, it's so funny now. Kids wouldn't even know what you're talking about if you said that.
Yeah.
The milkman's baby? They'd be like, what does that mean?
Yeah. I don't even really know because I don't even think the milkman was around when I was born.
That's what it was.
Yeah, but you know the concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the milkman came and delivered milk and delivered a little bit extra something.
Yeah.
So did you ever question just naturally as a child? Because with my kids that are half Caucasian or now, like I told you guys, we went through their DNA and found out what they really are. So I always tell them, like, you guys aren't white. You guys are German. You're Irish. And Seth has really connected with his German roots, almost where I wish he didn't get his DNA.
I love my German roots, so I feel him. I
feel like, well, I'm raising you in my Mexican home. You should be loving us, not your German people. And he's like, he learns words in German, has a German sweater that says something.
I know. So do I. Oh my gosh. I so feel him.
Yeah.
Do you know why? It's because it's more mysterious.
Oh, is that what it is?
So he's raised in your household. He's had it his whole life.
Yeah.
And me, my German, like my mom has family in Germany. And I've never met him. Yeah. I want to go there so bad and meet him.
And through his ancestry.com, he has like cousins and stuff in Germany.
Yeah.
And he feels so connected to all that. But I don't really get my feelings hurt. But there is a moment at some time I'm like, this mofo. Like, this
get it.
Mexican ass has raised you, wiped your ass, fed you.
Boo. You're being so selfish right now.
Oh, totally. 100%. But he did say, because he's coming home in like a week from South Dakota, and in our group text, he's like, Nun, I need you to cook. And she's like, what do you want, mijo? He's like, rice and beans. And I was like, oh, all of a sudden you're Mexican? All of a sudden, because you've been in South Dakota with the white people, now you want some rice and beans?
Hey, he missed it.
Oh, he did. But
see what happens?
That's true. So when for them growing up, my kid's half Caucasian, half white. Like, my daughter is very, very close to her Caucasian side of the family. And they're amazing. You know, her aunt and her grandma. So I totally, like, I'm connected to them. So I understand it.
Yeah.
So my daughter doesn't really feel one way or the other. She's connected to both sides, I think, equally. But for my son, I always thought he would choose us because we're the ones that are here.
No, you're boring. He sees you every day.
Well, he was in junior high and he came home one day and he said, and this is when things started to go a little weird with his dad.
And he also doesn't look Mexican.
He looks Mexican now.
He does?
Oh, now, well, I think it's the little Mexican mustache that everybody wants him to take off. I'm like,
why is it a Mexican mustache?
Because he looks like Pablo, like doing my gardening. That's why with the mustache.
God,
like
he went there.
He does. Like he literally. I'm like,
she went there.
Everybody, since he's been gone for the summer, everybody, like when we send pictures,
he's gonna hate you for this.
He is. And you know what? He has never listened to my podcast, but this week that he said, Mom, I started listening to your podcast. And now I'm going to be like, oh, don't listen to that one though. Like don't listen to that one. So in junior high, he came home and said, we get to say welcome in our native tongue. And I was like, well, you're not going to get picked. And he's like, well, why not? I said, Pa, there's like 500 Mexican kids that are going to say bienvenidos, right? And he goes, I'm not saying that.
He wants to say it in German.
Oh my gosh. No.
Please say he wanted to say it in German.
Said it, and he got it. So there I am. His daddy is not at his junior high graduation. The Mexican mother is. And you said it in German? I was
yes, he did.
I was like, oh, Lord, this little white boy.
I love him already.
Sorry, I had to pull this up. I had to.
You had to pull up what?
This picture here.
Let's
see. So, yeah.
Okay, he doesn't have a mustache right there.
Yeah, well, I can say he looks Mexican, but he could pass.
I don't think he looks Mexican. He looks German. Look at his look at his face.
Put a mustache on there.
Look at his face structure. It's just like mine.
No,
you want me to draw a mustache?
No, but look at his chin.
No,
I have a big. I swear.
I'm gonna find a picture real quick, and Solomon's gonna be able to pull it up on Instagram.
And that's his German side.
Girl, he does not have a German side. I'm his mama.
I don't care. I'm telling you.
I'm like, he does. I have to put my glasses on and look for
I'm telling you.
My little white girl, she could be white all day long. I love her. I don't care.
Why can't he be German?
Because her dad, her aunt, and her grandma are here. He has to just be me.
Why?
Because I'm the only one here.
No, you can't do that. Sorry.
Oh, wait, I think I found one. Hold up.
Did you?
Let's see.
He is so proud to be German. See? Look at him.
That is not Mexican.
He looks like a little. No. I can't say the word. I got to stop.
You said the gardener. Oh, my God.
He doesn't look like a gardener.
But look at his eyes, too. You know what he was doing before he took that picture.
Oh, my gosh. What color are his eyes?
Brown.
Oh, okay.
But his hair, so this is another thing. The crazy part is, like, when he was up at Chico State, all the girls would ask him, what do you dye your hair with? Like, why is it so dark? And he's like, that's my mama's hair. Like, it's dark. Like, my dad has super jet black hair, like super dark hair. And Seth has really, really black hair. But they didn't believe him. All the girls were like, no, you dye it. And he's like, no. because I'm not white. And they'd be like, well, what are you? And he's like,
he looks white to me.
Well, he tells everybody, like,
especially
I have a...
American white.
He does. But it's funny because he went to go play...
Germans now white here. Irish is white.
Okay, we went back to saying that. What were we saying the other day?
I was saying we,
as a culture,
create new white people every year. Italians are white.
Italians are not white. Italians are Italians.
You don't have to tell me.
They are not white. Italians, Irish, Dutch. Well, I guess is Dutch.
Irish, not white.
That's why I stopped at there. I stopped at Dutch because I was like, they kind of are white.
And Dutch are white. Yeah. Everybody in Scandinavia.
Yeah, I guess they are. That is white. You're right.
Color of your skin.
Well, then my daughter is white. My son is not.
I don't think we should be calling. That you should be called what your ethnicity is. I am Irish. I am German. I am. Okay, so when somebody asks
you what you are, what do you say? Because when somebody asks me where you at, what are you home? Where are you from? I'm Mexican all day long.
Yeah, I identify as white and black because that's all anybody knows here.
Oh, so that's what you say?
Yeah, I just say I'm.
So you don't say you're German, or you're like.
Honestly, I don't say anything. I only say it.
Yeah, because when you told me, I didn't believe you. I made you show me a picture of your dad. I was like,
because that happens every fucking time. Sorry, can I cuss? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Don't look at what are you looking for. Not my show. It's her show.
Yes, you can cuss. But that, people always ask my daughter, like, you're Mexican? You don't look like one. And she's like, what am I supposed to look like? A fucking tortilla? Like, I don't understand what I'm supposed to look like.
That is the most frustrating part about being mixed.
Yes. And
because I'm not black enough to be black. And I'm not white enough to be white.
I'm not Mexican enough to be Mexican. And the thing is, growing up when I go to Mexico in the summer, believe it or not, those Mexicans in Mexico, in my dad's, it's called a rancho that we lived on, they loved us. They were like, you're our people. Like, yes. Mm-hmm. But you cross the border and come here, because I have white kids, all my friends are like, oh, you're a coconut. Oh, you're a whitewash. I was like, first of all, do you speak Spanish? Have you ever been to Mexico? Like, I'm Mexican through and through. Just because I have 2 white babies, that doesn't change who I am. Like, I'm all Mexican. Yeah. I've raised my kids on the culture.
Why do you have to be whitewashed? Do you know what I mean?
Because that's what that's what it is.
I'm conflicted with myself.
Well, I'll tell you.
I don't want to be either. I just want to be me.
Just want to be. Well, I try to be me, but I do know I'm so pro-Mexican.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I'm trying to constantly remind people.
I'm pro-German and I am pro-black. I'm dead smack in the middle.
And I think that
I'm proud of both of
you should be, because you know who you are.
Yeah.
That's why I made my kids do their DNA. I made them do the DNA because I was like, sick of saying my kids are white, but you're Mexican and this is what Mexicans consist of, right? Yeah. But at the end of the day, they're still my kids. They still need to know who they are. And I want them to be strong in who they are. So let's do this DNA and find out what you guys are. So we do it and we were all impressed. And I was like, oh, wow. Like, and then they said, Mom, do yours. I said, nope, absolutely not. I'm Mexican and that's all you need to know. Because if that paper tells me I'm not Mexican or I'm something else, I'm going to be like,
it's not that I don't think I'm what I am, because I know I am because of my family. Mm-hmm. But I just don't have like this urge to go out there and have my DNA. I told you, if I want to murder somebody, I can no longer do it.
Because your DNA.
That was interesting. That's the first thing you brought up.
She did. Did you hear her say that?
Because
I
don't want to be on the I don't want to be on a catch me from
DNA is now out there. I just have I have no reason to have my DNA out there. I don't want it out there.
So somewhere in the back of your head, there's this little ghetto part that's like, I'm gonna have to kill my man one day, and when I do, you ain't gonna catch me.
Yeah, right. Like, if you knew, I couldn't hurt a fly.
You're like, no.
No, I kill flies. Never mind, I lied. I couldn't hurt any other animal. I hate
a spider?
Flies. I hate spiders.
You can kill a spider.
I really don't. I only kill black widows.
Black widows?
Yeah. They're deadly.
Yeah, they are. What were you going to say, Sullivan?
Well, I was going to say 2 things. One, there's a spider right outside the door.
Oh, my God.
Don't tell me that. That's not funny.
Is it a black widow?
No,
that's
it's just
not funny.
the daddy long leg ones.
I like those.
Considered good luck.
I can deal with those. You know what I can't deal with right now? It's summertime. What? Those big ass brown cockroaches with wings.
Oh, yeah.
And it makes me feel like we have cockroaches, and Mexicans supposedly always have cockroaches. So when one gets in my house, I feel dirty and I'm like, and it just freaks me out.
I can't stand flies and gnats.
It's the other thing I was going to say, and I have to ask you this question.
Uh-oh.
So wait, you force your kids to do the DNA thing?
So this is the thing.
No. I don't want to hear the whole story.
No, she
Just
forces
say yes.
her kids to do a lot of things.
Just say yes.
That is real clear.
Right. So you force them to do it.
My
but
little 5'4" ass.
when they find out that they have other nationalities other than Mexican, you flip out. And when they start wanting to embrace it
but I will say
and go after that culture.
I will say this.
Okay, I'm listening.
The first year they found out who they were, I would purposely, just to be a bitch, would say goodnight, and I would do the Google Translate and say goodnight to Seth in German. And then since Irish is just Gaelic or whatever it is, I would send her like a little green heart with I would just be like, here you go. Good night, love you. Just to and they were like, oh my God, our mom's so extra. What the hell? You just want us to be Mexican?
And when you get up in the morning, don't look for breakfast. Go to your Germans and Irish to feed you.
Go to Germany if you're hungry.
Sure.
Yeah, get some strudel. What's up with that?
Go find your daddies to feed you because this brown woman over here is done with your little half-white ass.
Oh my God.
No, I wanted them to know who they were so they can stand tall in who they were.
But you really think they just are not connected to? I guarantee you they're connected to their Mexican side. I guarantee it.
No, and this is why I think they're not. You ready for my little 2 trading ass kids?
Whatever.
Now, mind you, and Solomon, you've heard it all. I've been here with my kids through everything. And these 2 little trading asses this week, I was hot, but I laughed on the text message. My son sends a picture of the name. His last name's Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
And the
white ass last name.
Yeah, Seth Nelson to boot.
That
Seth
is a
Nelson.
white last name.
He sends a picture of what is it called when your last name, the symbol of what your last name is in German,
okay.
What is it called? It's like
a symbol. We'll just call it a symbol.
But it's like a picture of Nelson, and then there's this whatever. And he's like, look, sissy, what does your last name Snyder mean? Okay, another white name. And I'm like, and Seth's like, I'm about to get blasted. I said, what do you mean blasted? He's like, oh, across my back. I said, you're getting the Nelson image, whatever that thing is, on your back? And he's like, yes. And I was like, okay.
What do you want him to get?
Yes, the family crest.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
So then my daughter,
I was like, is that what she's talking about?
So then my daughter pulls up the Snyder one, and these 2,
yes.
And these 2 little white ass kids.
What do you want them to get? A Mexican flag?
I mean, it wouldn't hurt them. I mean, they do live with the brown mama who pays all the bills.
Oh,
and the brown mama who cooked, and the brown mama who's wiped all the tears, and the brown mama who's want to whoop everybody's ass that broke the little hearts.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to get that?
Yeah.
I ain't paying for that tattoo. Gosh, your German daddy to pay for that.
What if they got the word mom in German on their tattoo? Would you be happy then?
Well, I can't talk because Seth's very first tattoo, I should probably stop talking a whole lot of shit.
Too late now.
Your poor son.
His name,
your poor daughter.
He didn't tattoo mom on his chest.
Your white little babies.
He tattooed Alina on his chest. So my son has my name on his chest.
Okay, that's
and I said,
sweet.
well, why didn't you do what most Mexicans do?
So now he doesn't need a Mexican flag.
Yeah, and he goes, no, my mom's name is Alina. Your name needs to be known. And I was like, at the time, I was like, oh. So I guess I should probably stop talking shit about my kids.
Yes.
But I just don't understand, you wanted to change your name from Nelson to Pineda.
I have to tell you? It's because they're not connected to that side. That's why they're resonating with it. They don't know. It's a mystery.
Yes. And you asked if I liked her when she came in here, and we agreed on quite a few things already.
Yeah.
I agree with her on this, too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, all I'm going to say is Loran's side of the family is not a mystery. She knows her daddy and her auntie and her grandma. Actually, when I leave here, I'm going to auntie's house for my 2 adorable niece and nephew who I love. They're 16, their birthday. So I'll be with my daughter and her Caucasian family, and her dad will be there and everybody. It's Seth's family that, the first time I met Marcus's mom, she was like, you people have such beautiful hair.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
You people.
You people. Okay. All right.
They always want to touch my hair.
Yeah. Well,
I want almost as bad as Pablo the gardener, but we'll just let that go.
Don't fucking touch my hair.
I'm just saying.
We're in a
Seth
fight.
was always a cute little white boy, and as he's getting older now, he looks more. I even sent him a text, and I said, "Ooh, Pa, I'm sorry. Your features are changing."
Yeah.
And he goes, Mom, I've embraced it. And I was like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
But I just wonder, like, for me growing up, I was Mexican. I knew who I was. But for you growing up, that is so, like.
Confusing.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with my brothers being as dark as they are.
Weird. At some point, you didn't think in your head, was I adopted? Did they switch me at birth?
No, I really didn't because
you were so loved and just felt like you belonged.
Yeah. Like I said, I have like my dad's features.
But when you're 3 or 4, you're not looking at that. When you're 3 or 4, you're not looking around like, where do I fit in?
No, but I get so dark in the summer. There's no way I am Caucasian.
You are Caucasian. You look Caucasian.
But I get dark.
Like how dark?
Like dark. Darker than you.
No, you don't.
Oh, yes, I do.
I don't know.
Listen to the Caucasian judge over here.
You are Caucasian.
I
decree. Because
how can you tell me what color my skin gets?
Because when I first met you, I told you 10 minutes into talking to you, I fell in love with you. I fell in love with you, and I was like, who is this girl, Kathy? Like, I love her.
Ask Kathy when I got back from Maui how dark I was.
I'll ask her.
I get so dark. I really do.
So when I met you,
and
I thought you spray tanned.
No,
this is before I found out what her ethnicity was.
I can understand that.
Yeah, I thought you spray tanned.
No, I hate spray tans.
Do you?
I hate them.
Yeah, so do I. I don't do them. I just go outside.
Rubs off on stuff.
I just go outside in the sunlight.
Both of you guys don't need it, so I don't know why you guys talk about what you don't like.
I don't need it because look at the last podcast I did in that tank top. Everybody was like, "Girl, stay out of the sun. You're a little dark."
Well, yeah. Like, if you wear, I wear black clothes, so when you're in black, your skin doesn't look as. When you're in white. Oh my gosh, your skin looks so dark.
I usually like to wear colors because
I'm not. everything.
So
I love black.
We had an issue in our family growing up with I hated my skin color when I was young. I hated how dark I would get, especially because I would come back from Mexico all summer long and I look like.
Why?
Because girls were mean. We were talking about mean girls earlier. Yeah. I went to junior high and girls were mean. I was called a wetback, a beaner, a great picker, everything. Like they were mean. So I hate it. Today, I let the sun hit me. I love my brown skin. Today I've accepted. Today I feel better, but it took a long. And my grandpa, again, the most amazing man ever, he was like, girl, your skin ain't going nowhere. You can't change it. You better accept who you are. And the sooner you accept it, the happier you will be. And my aunt, I look at my aunt and she's dark, but my aunt's beautiful, but she doesn't like being in the sun. She has issues she doesn't want her skin to get darker because of things that were said to her. My grandma the same way. But the crazy part is my grandpa being Mexican, he's a lighter skinned one. He loved all of his dark women. Yeah. Like we were to him, he was like the darker the better.
But that's sort of the way it is in a lot of cultures, period, right now. Like especially when you have cultures where they have multiple skin colors, in that same culture. Like in the Philippines, if you're light, it doesn't matter if you're beautiful or the ugliest girl in the world, you're considered more beautiful than, anyone who's dark.
But there's a reason why, right?
Well, I'm just saying from the standpoint of, my wife is Filipino, and she's a little darker. And I think she's beautiful, but yeah, she was telling me how she was considered not as good looking as someone who was just simply lighter.
Because I think there's something about it meant the lighter you are, it meant the less you were out picking rice in the sun. So you were dark because you were out there, so they looked bad upon you because you were basically poor, right? Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
That's why. To me, it's like that's so dumb.
It's just amazing to me how it transcends culture.
And now
it's that way in the Hispanic cultures and
and now everyone wants to be dark.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, everybody
ever
wants
since
spray
Eva
tan.
Longoria became sort of very popular. And I was like, the dark woman princess there.
Yeah, because even Selma Hayek, as gorgeous as she is, she's not dark. She's very light skinned. She's not dark at all.
Yeah.
Hey, I noticed when you started the podcast off, here, let me rub my chin real quick as I do this. You said, I've dated all of these races. I noticed you didn't mention black. So have you never ever dated a black person?
I have.
Oh, because you didn't mention it. I was just curious.
Well, I didn't say that because of Steph and what we were going to get into. So I wanted to. That's why.
Yeah, you got to clarify it for the black man in the room.
But a Puerto Rican, everybody calls them black anyways.
Why?
You haven't heard that?
They're not black.
No. Oh my God! Are you? Wait, seriously?
No. So I know a Puerto Rican and he looks white.
Okay, so I dated a Puerto Rican off and on, an amazing human being. There's obviously some issues we had that we couldn't get past. And I actually loved when he spoke Spanish, you know,
Mhm.
I was
Yeah.
like intrigued by it because Puerto Ricans take a story
Mhm.
and they speed it up and tell it to you really fast and make it really good. Mexicans tell a story, I'm talking about in Spanish, and it's like a telenovela.
Yeah.
And the story goes on and
Yeah.
on. And Puerto Ricans like, da, 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 da. So it's great. So he was great. But when my family met him, they were like, oh, he's black. And I was like, you're not black, you're Puerto Rican. He speaks better Spanish than you. They're like, no, he's black. And I'm like, no, all my friends. Oh, he was black. He was not black, fool. He
I
was
gotta
Puerto
see
Rican.
this guy because I have never seen a Puerto Rican that looked
Oh,
black.
There are dark Puerto Ricans.
yeah.
I just don't consider them black because when we think of black by
Yeah.
culture. You know,
I will say I learned one thing in an argument we had, and it was a joking argument.
Mhm.
And of course, we teased each other because I'm Mexican, he's Puerto Rican. We'd make, racial jokes. And he said something, I was like, take your ass back to Puerto Rico in your own country. And he was like, girl, you do realize I don't need a passport to go to Puerto Rico. And I was like,
Do people
Wait.
think at
Oh,
all?
I did.
Do they think you're white? Do they think you're Mexican?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Never Mexican. It's either indigenous, which I am, or I get Islander a lot.
Oh,
So
okay.
I would always tell Seth, like, oh, this girl asked me if I was Hawaiian.
Mhm.
He goes, Mom, no one asks you that. You just want to be Hawaiian because they're beautiful. So stop trying to be someone else's culture. And I was like, no, people ask
Have
me that.
people said anything racial in front of you?
Oh, all the time. But we
Me
were at
too.
Kohl's one time, and the lady said, hey, sis, she was a Samoan girl. What
Mhm.
island you from? I looked at my son, and I was like, wow. And Seth goes, oh, God, just stop now. You're going to make her head so big. I was like, I'm from the island of Mexico. She goes, sis, you're not one of us? I said, no, but I am one of you because we all brown. We all
Yeah.
together, like, right? But people say racial things in front of me all the time because they think it's okay because I have white kids.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not okay. Like, my kids are half, but I'm all brown. Like, my dad has a green card. He came from Mexico.
Can I tell you something that happened to me yesterday?
Yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
So we were swimming.
I saw your pictures on Instagram.
We were swimming, and there's a neighbor that's a cop, and he comes over and he's talking about
Whose house were you at?
at Amy's house.
Okay.
So
Your friend Amy.
Mhm.
Okay.
So there's a neighbor that's a cop that came over, and he starts talking about how they're trying to abolish the canine unit at his police department because apparently having a canine unit is racial. They're only going after Black and Mexican people. And then he proceeded to say,
Well, I would kind of think maybe they were trained
better
that way.
finish.
well, then he proceeded to say that maybe Blacks and Mexicans shouldn't do illegal shit. I didn't.
Solomon and I
like,
have the
I think
same
we all
face.
got the same
Yeah.
face.
I mean, like,
All like,
do you see what I mean?
What do you say to
I'll
something
say
like
shit
that?
Because what am I going to say?
my daddy's black and
what
he's
am I
going to be
gonna
like, you're
fucking say?
lying.
No, because they backtrack. Every time I do that, I don't say shit anymore. Every time I do that, they backtrack. Oh, I didn't mean it like that. Oh, they try to play
But
it
hold
off.
on, let's talk about your dad then. Since blacks and Mexicans are the only ones that do illegal shit, right?
Yeah.
Who's your dad's a lawyer. Your dad's a
Yeah.
big top-notch person. Your dad is an educated man. You just said your
super
brother
educated.
You just
My
said your brother
grandfather
went to
too.
Berkeley. So
My grandfather too. My grandfather was a judge.
So there are criminals in every race.
Every race.
It's not just
No.
blacks and Mexicans, but
No.
for some reason, society has portrayed that and people believe that.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's so heartbreaking.
Do you cringe inside?
Oh man, it's more disgusting to me, like that people still think that today. Like that's still their mindset.
Do you think that'll ever change?
I don't know. I really hope so. I'm hopeful.
Does your son, who is what was his
My
dad?
son identifies as Mexican, and I am not kidding. All his friends are Mexican.
Is that why?
Yeah, all his friends are Mexican.
So
I mean, he knows he's white and black,
but he just feels comfortable with
he's
them, and that's where
majority
he was
white.
Yeah, because he looks white.
Yeah, his dad is German.
oh wait, so he's not Mexican at all,
no,
but he identifies as Mexican.
yeah, yes,
Oh, okay, got it. Okay.
yes,
and that's a good thing.
He's more connected to his Mexican side that he is not
Yeah.
than anything. He is full white basically, and a little bit of black because I'm half.
Yeah, and
and he's
that's
like
what I'm saying. What does he
he's
go
like
through?
a quarter. I
Yeah.
think, black,
Black,
and then
yeah.
the rest is German.
But kids can identify with people that they're raised around,
And you
right?
can tell he's German. That's why I keep saying your son looks German. You should see my son. Put my son,
Yeah,
me, and your
son
son
together and
in
you're all
a
related.
row.
Yeah, and you're all related. And when my niece, who's 12 now, was like 3 or 4, cute little dark little Mexican girl and all these long curls, I looked at my son one day and I was like, I want one of those. He goes, you know how you get one of those?
Yeah.
Have a baby with a Mexican. And I was like, oh. He's like, stop having white babies, Mom, and then you'll have a little Mexican. And I was like,
but do you when someone says something racist in front of you, you bring it up? Do you say anything about it? Or do you just
when I
let
was
it
younger,
slide?
I did a lot because I was so protective. I think of my dad and my grandpa and their story coming from Mexico and coming legally and
I'm
doing
the
it.
same way.
I was so protective. But I got to a point where I loved me, I accepted me, and I love their story so much that I just don't feed into ignorance anymore.
Yeah,
it's not
me
worth
too.
it. Now, if it's somebody
Not worth the
who
fight. You're not going to change their
no,
mind.
and if it's a friend and that's genuinely how you feel, then I'm just not going to be your friend. We just don't need to be friends.
No.
Like, it's just, I'm not even going to argue over it.
Yeah, we're
It's
not going to
not.
click.
Yeah, and for me, my grandpa here, my mom's dad, so I had a kid at 16, and of course, the whole race is, just another Mexican having a kid at 16. My grandpa was like, you need to stay in school, you need to stay educated, you need to work, you want to piss them off, you keep doing better. You do better with the kid. And so for me, I've always had to go better to make it known that, yes, I had a kid at 16, but I'm not, you're not going to stereotype me into all of that.
Yeah, see, that's how I am. When it comes with my dad, I feel the same way. I'm more connected emotionally, I think, because of the stuff my dad went through. And I'm sure the stuff my grandfather went through.
Yeah.
And my mom really didn't go through that stuff until she had us.
Until she married him.
Yeah. Well,
then she probably felt it.
Well, they don't really talk about that.
So you
that
don't really
aspect.
know. Yeah.
So I don't really know. I'd love to know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I feel more connected to my dad because of that. But I feel dead smack in the middle. I've always felt dead smack in the middle. My dad went through a lot. He was obviously black rights activist up in San Francisco area. I'll tell you the coolest story about him. He and his girlfriend at the time, I think it was he also had a daughter that passed away at 18 months. And I think that was his first wife that he was with when he did this, but he got a group of people in San Francisco together, and Cadillac wouldn't hire black employees at all. So they all went to Cadillac dealerships all over San Francisco, and they got into a Cadillac, acted like they were going to test drive it, and sat in it for 8 hours. I have a picture of it on my Instagram.
And did that change anything?
Well, probably not that day, probably not that year, probably not the next year, but eventually it did, because that's not.
We're telling the story today, so it changed something.
At
least it changed
But
some
it's
minds.
crazy because today a lot of black people drive Cadillacs.
My dad has a Cadillac.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's another stereotype.
That's like saying Mexicans don't drive Impalas. Mexicans drive Impalas like mofos. Like, let's not like.
When Impalas first came out, they were driven by everybody.
My daddy had a lowered Impala.
My dad had a Mercury,
Really?
a 53 Merc.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen them. They're very cool.
No, I don't think I have.
They're called like lead sleds. I want one so bad.
And that's another thing. Like, if you look at those old school cars, like the white guys like the Lincolns. The Mexicans like the Impalas. Like, it's crazy how your ethnicity or whatever culture, whatever, has their own style of like whatever you go through. Because my dad was not. Everybody will tell you he was not a lowrider, a gang member at all. He was a very educated man, but he did like his lower Impala. He did like his oldies. All that stuff.
Yeah.
He did like.
Did your mom go through any of that stuff?
My mom went through things. No, she went through things like I think having kids young, getting married young, getting divorced young, her fighting thing, like the boxing thing she went through, that in itself, she went through a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? And my mom was already like a feisty woman. Like, I know she got I don't know if she fought a cop, got in a fight with a cop. Like, And I don't even know why she got pulled over. But I got to ask her one day. So it's not that my mom didn't go through things, but sometimes I'm like, girl, did you put yourself through it or did it come to you? Because she's crazy. Like,
I know.
She like has
my mom's crazy.
There's like no filter. There's no like.
My mom is a nutcase. I think that's where I get a lot of my personality because my dad's very reserved. My mom's a nut.
Really?
Oh, yeah. She's so goofy. She's so funny. She's always been like that. My grandfather, her dad was the same way. Yeah. Like, they just do weird stuff. We're weirdos.
That is, and how often do you see your German side, Caucasian side?
Well, I don't see them a lot because they're in Nebraska. They're all in Nebraska.
Yeah, that's where, like, I get it. That's where, so my aunt that married my uncle in Colorado, he's a total Caucasian guy, so we always give him shit. Like, you don't even know where you're from. You don't know. He's like, my family came from Oklahoma. My uncle held on to the side of the car, and my grandma and everybody packed up the car and came here. So he doesn't know his roots or his back, but he has his own story of where his people came from, Yeah. But I always tell him, okay, but where did they come from? He's like, oh, I don't know where they came from. Yeah. He's like, they're Okies. That's all he knows. Yeah.
I honestly, like, I don't really care much about like where you come from. I love my family, period.
Yeah.
I'm going to love them anyway, no matter where they came from.
If you say that, when you were in school, what box did you check?
I checked both and I always got in trouble for it.
Well, my grandpa did.
They're like, you have to pick one. I said, I'm not one. So I'm picking both.
I can see her too at like 8 years old trying to fight the teacher. Like
I used to argue with my mom about it. She's like, just pick the one where what your skin color is. And I'm like, no, I'm not that.
So I've always picked other and put Mexican, American, or Chicano.
But they didn't always have
other. They didn't have other. So we had on my mom's birth certificate, I think it says white. I think it was just like the white
and
race.
It says white and black.
Yeah. So
I trip off on the ones that say black, not of Hispanic origin.
Yeah.
Right? Or white, not Hispanic, right?
I don't understand that. Like, what the?
Does it mean that we're just everywhere?
Yeah. Not of Hispanic origin.
The 16-year-old whose birthday I'm going to today, Kinsey, she's probably, I don't know, somewhere between 5 and 8.
Who has a birthday on a Sunday?
Well, it's not her birthday. It's a dinner birthday party. So when Kinsey was like 5 or 8, they asked her something. She goes, well, I'm Mexican.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, homegirl, you're nowhere near Mexican. She goes, yes, I am. And they were like, why do you think you're Mexican? She goes, well, Auntie Alina's Mexican, so I'm Mexican. And we were like, oh, we couldn't break her heart and tell her she's not. So forever, she was like, I'm Mexican.
Wait a minute. Why is she not?
She's my daughter's side of the family. She's a Caucasian, so it's my daughter's first cousin. It's my daughter's aunt's daughter.
Well, don't break her heart.
Oh, we didn't. We let her think she's Mexican. Oh, I think now she realized she's not, because now I think she knows the whole dynamics of how we're all related. But she, for the life of us, I am Mexican. My aunt likes the Dodgers. I like the Dodgers. I was like, oh, this poor girl.
So as we bring this podcast to a close.
Do we have to?
We're at 43 minutes.
Oh, yeah, we should.
Like to be around 40.
We got to. I haven't even looked at it.
I want to ask you, so just to summarize, how important do you, Alina, think it is to know where you come from? Do you feel like it plays a big part in where you're going? Yes or no?
Yes. If you don't know where you come from, how do you know where you stand?
And how about you?
I don't know how I feel about that. I because I'm dead smack in the middle, I feel like I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for both of my heritages. But I don't know. I don't really know how to answer that, because I just feel like I am who I am, and that's either take it or leave it.
And my kids are going to be like you one day.
Yeah.
So if you knew nothing about where you came from in terms of relatives and all of that, you still feel like you can move forward and push forward in life being who you are?
Well, no, I think everybody wants to know where they come from. No, I don't think I'd be able to. I'd always wonder where I came from, who I came from, what kind of, family I had. I'm sure anyone that doesn't have like their family, immediate family here, feels that way. So no, I don't think that, but I don't know. I just feel differently because of the way I was raised, and I was always raised to just never identify as one. You are who you are, and just be that.
I need to be more like that with my kids.
Yeah.
I need to be more.
Yeah. Stop trying to make them Mexican. When your son is German, damn it, and your mom is your daughter is white. Let her be white.
Tell her wife that.
With her truck.
Tell her wife. So Jackie's
her truck.
Jackie's name is Jacqueline Moya, little Mexican girl. I love my little Mexican girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now her name's going to be Jacqueline Snyder. And do you know how much I make fun of her? I was like, girl, you ain't Mexican no more. You just lost your Mexican roots. You changed and put your last name Snyder. And she's like,
She hates white people is what I'm getting at.
I love white people.
She doesn't want anyone to be white.
You just get from me. That's all you get. That's it.
She doesn't want anyone to be white.
No, I think I just want my kids to know where. I don't want my kids to lose. This is why my grandpa moved back to Mexico, and every summer, wheelchair and all, because he was paralyzed. That man and my grandma came and got us the day school got out or the next day and took us back to Mexico so we knew who we were. So he left that impression of this is who you are, this is where you came from, be proud of it. I do. I am. I went and had these little white babies, and now they're like, yeah, we're cool on Mexico.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Alina, take us out.
Okay, we're done. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Steph, for coming. Welcome. I totally enjoyed this. Thank you, Solomon. Please watch, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and we'll be back next week.